roundtable. We are very glad to have you on our second roundtable out of 4 with the title Ensuring the Quality of Professional Development in Public Administration in International Practice. So today we really have our colleagues from different schools or academies for public administration. We have Eva Treven, our dear friend. She's Director General of Quality Directorate from Ministry of Public Administration in Slovenia. Also with us are colleagues from Romanian National Institute of Administration. Here is Alina Blei, Director of Short-Term Training and Coordinator of Specialized Training, and Andrea Bordea from the Department of Communication, Projects, Cooperation and External Relations. From Albania, we have one brave colleague between all these women. He's from Albanian School of Public Administration, or ASPA, and he's the head of Quality Assurance Unit. Hello.
Hello.
And we have also Samra Ljuca from Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina from their Agency for Civil Service, and Samra is Assistant Director and also from Department for Vocational Training and Civil Service Department. Our opening remarks for today are going to be held by our Assistant Director, Snežana Antonijević. Hello, Snežana. And she's going to say a few words at the beginning.
Thank you, Christina. Hello to everybody. My pleasure is to be with you today on this virtual roundtable, because the quality management is one of my favorite topics or issue that I would like to talk about. I think that you know that National Academy for Public Administration is a very young institution, and we are a central institution of professional training system in public administration, in Serbian public administration. And our main responsibility is to identify the training needs, then to develop the training program for civil servants for both level and the central level, and also for the local level. And also we need to implement this training program, evaluate and report of the results. Also, research activities of the National Academy for Public Administration will be also in the forthcoming period one of our main activities. We are 5 years after our establishment. We are now able to intensively commit to quality management issue, because quality management of training is very important issue for NAPA. From one side, we are obliged to prepare and implement the training program. And also from the other side, we also give a support to public administration bodies in all phases of the training cycle, in identifying the training needs, in developing the training program, implementing, etc. And because of that, we need to care about standards and criteria for implementation, for unique criteria and standards for training cycle phases, for all phases of the training. Because of that, in the early phases of the National Academy, we developed the legislative framework. And in these acts, we set some standards and elements for all phases of training cycle. We have the bylaws related to the TNA, related to the implementation of training, evaluation, central records, etc. And we have the guideline for training program developing. Also last year, we conducted the external evaluation of the NAPA's work. And also now we are thinking about ISO standardization. But in our work, we implement the ISO 10015 standards related to the management of the development of the competencies and development of the people. And at the end of my opening remarks, I would like to emphasize that in our public administration reform strategy and in the action plan, prescribed role of NAPA in establishing the quality management in training system, or as well establishing the standards and criteria for all phases of the training cycle. And having in mind this, for now, we did not establish the organizational unit, as in Albania, organizational unit for quality management, and it is also prescribed in our action plan for PAR strategy. but now we have one work position in National Academy, a work position for quality management, and Christina Package is on this workplace. So she initiated this roundtable and coordinate everything, and will moderate this series of the set of the quality management virtual roundtable. So I give her floor now, and thank you very much for listening to me, and I would like to hear our virtual discussion, I hope. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Snežana. Thanks to all participants and panelists, and I can see that we have greetings from different countries, which is really great for us to see and to hear. So let's start with our conversation. First of all, one question for all. It's whether you in your schools or academies for public administration implemented ISO 9001 or maybe different standard, and the CAF, which stands for Common Assessment Framework. I need to say this because not everybody is familiar with what these standards or models or, let's say, concepts are, because we have these differences between ISO and CAF, but this was the subject of the first roundtable, so I won't be along with this. So please, Eva, can you explain to us what did you do in Slovenia in your quality directorate, and what are your experiences on CAF and on ISO?
Okay, first I would like to say hello to everybody who is here with us today, and thank you for the Serbian National Academy for Public Administration for inviting me to be a part of this roundtable. I'm honored and grateful to have the opportunity to learn also from all the other speakers today. Well, I'm sure we face the same issues, demands, and challenges, all public administrations. In today's uncertain environment, I think, which is more and more complex, public administration is expected to provide a stable and a safe environment, also for the economy, to be able to quickly address the changes and challenges, to be cost efficient, to make evidence-based policy, and to include citizens and other stakeholders in decision making. I think we have to be innovative, cross-sectoral, and to do all that, we were expected to do it yesterday. But on the other hand, as you already know, since 2008, most of public administrations are actually faced with difficult economic situation, different crises. We implemented many cost reduction measures, also in human resource management and public employment systems. And we cut some investments also in training, which have resulted in a loss of trust and commitment of our employees. We had to reduce size and cost of administration, but we still have to attract young talents. We have to have skilled and motivated personnel to provide productivity and performance. And we
I imali smo konkurenciju sa privatnim sektorom. Kako dobiti utakmicu sa privatnim sektorom? Nije to lako. Ja mislim da je pravi odgovor angažovanje.
Environment in which employees are actually willing and able to invest themselves, their time, and their work to implement organizational goals. And that is only possible when organizational goals are in line and aligned with employees' personal goals. The use of the right quality model can be partial answer to those issues. In Slovenia, the introduction of quality management system began in 1999. At first, administrative units were certified in accordance with ISO standard, which were initially well accepted in public administration, especially because of the lack of experience in the use of quality tools. Later, under the new circumstances of the operation of public administration and with extraordinary dynamic changes, their applicability and relevance was exhausted. The Ministry of Public Administration itself is a regular CAF user since 2016, being the first to introduce CAF among the ministries. Since then, in 2019 and this year, we are implementing CAF internally, having in mind not only the benefits to be trustworthy within the public sector and toward general public. We cannot sell the idea of CAF to other organizations unless we do it ourselves, unless we have our own experience with it. As for CAF benefit, after evaluation, we found out that it improved the relations and communications among employees and between employees and the management. I think that it increased motivation for change, increased objectivity in relation to one's own work and the work of others, and an awareness of the shared responsibility for solving problems. We choose CAF because of its holistic approach to organization performance and because it's tailored and developed by public organization for public organization. Minister, Director of Government Office, Administrative Unit, and so on is the one that has to establish clear mission statement before doing CAF, has to clarify the vision and the values, and they create and he has to create an environment in which people can become fully involved in achieving the organization objectives. On the other hand, ISO standards, in our experience, is more focused on setting standard for organization, is focused for processes, for documentation. Most requirements must be met before, many requirements actually must be met before an organization is eligible for certification. And understanding those requirements can be quite challenging, especially for new organizations that have not yet implemented quality management system. The process can take a long time and in quite extensive documentation. It requires quite extensive documentation and can be understood from the employee's side as bureaucratic. And since implementation of ISO takes quite a long time, one cannot expect short-term results. In Slovenia, we have some public organizations that are ISO certificated also. For instance, in 2018, Ministry of Public Administration obtained certificate for Information Security Management System. But I think what is most important when we decide whether we do CAF, whether we do ISO, is actually before we choose the right quality model, that we have to answer to us some questions. Why we want to do it, what are our main goals, what do we want to achieve, and how much will it cost us? And on basis of that decisions, we have to decide which model of quality standard one or we shall implement.
Well, thank you, Eva. This was like quality management in a few minutes. Everything explained, really, from the point of view of public administration. But as we're going to see forward, we have different experiences regarding ISO and CAF, which is, I think, very valuable for this discussion. Regarding National Academy for Public Administration in Serbia, we didn't implement it, neither ISO, neither CAF, and that's why also this discussion is going to be very valuable for us to see your different experiences. So as you said, in Slovenia, you had ISO, but then you switched, or now you have a CAF. But in INA, something differently happened. So our colleagues are going to tell us. I know a little bit that they were thinking about implementing CAF, but they didn't do it. Instead, they have ISO 9001. So please, Alina, can you tell us
yes,
how do you manage? Well,
yes.
and what are your experiences?
Actually, we did implement CAF also, and ISO. We implemented CAF in 2020, It was a EU-funded project coordinated by the Ministry of Development and Public Administration. And through this project, all the institutions which were under the coordination of this ministry implemented CAF. And we did also. And in 2021, our CAF implementation self-evaluation group work realized all these steps that needed to be done, meaning all this analysis regarding the degree of fulfilling the criteria in the consolidation plan, the degree of fulfilling the objectives of the CAF plan, and also how the activity of INA improved after implementation of CAF. And in June 2021, INA was enrolled in the CAF users database, which is coordinated by EIPA from Maastricht. And also we have implemented ISO, and now we are in the process of recertification on ISO on training and research. We just finished our internal audit, and we're waiting for the external audit on ISO. And this helped us a lot, but because we already had in our legislation mentioned that we have to develop quality standards for our training programs. So we already had a set of quality standards for trainings regarding our own staff, trainers, training materials, feedback, evaluation, how to develop our training programs and all this. And by implementing these two quality instruments, we only this only came to consolidate what we had already developed in this regard, and to help us structure a little bit our standards and our information.
Okay, thank you very much for these experiences. So you have both and ISO and CAF.
Yes.
Yes, okay. And you said it was easier for you because you already had these standards implemented. Okay.
Yes, for both our training, short-term and long-term trainings. So yeah.
Thank you. Now we're going to hear a colleague, Ardit. They have ASPA has implemented ISO 21001, which is Management System for Educational Organizations. So please, Ardit, can you tell us where do you see benefits of applying these quality standards? And can you tell us something more about it, please?
Well, thank you, Christine. Firstly, I would like to make a small introduction, as always. I would like to present Albanian School of Public Administration. That is the main central institution with under Prime Minister offer responsible for offering training to central institution, local government, and independent institution. And for that reason, we emphasize a lot the quality assurance within public institution, within our services that we offer training for them. During 2022, we have trained more than 20,000 participants, around more than 5,000 individuals, and we have dedicated to the training more than 600 days of training. Related to your question, we saw that it's very important to assure the quality assurance within public administration. We are not certified based on any ISO, but we are following because the quality assurance unit is quite a new unit within the school, and that came because we saw the importance of the quality assurance of different training programs that we offer for public administration. And that, based on our experience, lastly in this year, we have working based on ISO, as you mentioned, 21001. That has been a very, very valuable guide for us to see, to set up international procedure for evaluation and monitoring of standards for different processes. For example, I can mention their trainer recruitment. That is a very important component in the training delivery. Those standards has helped us a lot to improve our quality, in our services regarding stakeholders that are involved in the process that we lead. Those standards has helped us a lot to establish a culture of community improvement for our stakeholder, to ensure that our training program meet the requirement and the needs of public administration. And based on what we have seen till now, because we are working also in that path with my team and within the school, we have seen some benefits. The first one that we saw that is very important is that we find a better alignment of objective and activity within ASPA policy with mission and vision. We have more personalized learning opportunity, effective response to all learners based on the distance they are around our country, and we are creating more opportunity. We see that diversification of our services and products that we offer for public administration is a kind of new approach for them, and for that reason we have offered and we are offering different services like in-class training, webinars, structured courses, and mentoring, coaching, and e-learning courses. So those are different services that we have diversified in order to have the quality assurance and to be to our employees. Another benefit that we saw using and going based on ISO, we faced that there is a consistent process and evaluation tool to demonstrate and increase the effectiveness and efficiency of our service, also increase credibility of the ASPA. So as I mentioned in the first beginning, we are quite a new unit within the school, but we are working very hard to maintain our quality service in our training that we offer for public administration.
Well, thank you. I think that you're on a great path. If you can believe me on that, we still do not have this unit, but this is going to be our next step. Snežana told you something more about this. I think we can all, of course, agree that setting quality standards are important for all of our schools and public administration academies. And when I just want to say something before I ask Samra to tell us how is it in their agency for civil service. It's when I ask you, I a little bit maybe said this as or CAF or ISO, but it's not like that. So I would like to point here that these approaches or ISO standards and CAF as a model or concept are complementary. Actually, you can have both. So now for Samra, how is it in your agency in Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and what are your experiences?
Thank you, Christina. Hello from Sarajevo. In Civil Service Agency of Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, we are widely introducing a common assessment framework in all institutions, and we started with the implementation of CAF since 2017. And we did this job in line with the action plan of the strategy for public administration in Bosnia and Herzegovina. At that time, we did have support from Austria. It is a KAIDES Center from Austria. It is a center for public administration and research policy, but they are widely using the experience in promoting CAF in EU countries and also now in the Western Balkan countries. As the benefits of the CAF, we can mention several benefits. Firstly, we have developed capacities within the Civil Service Agency. Then we have specified a special organizational unit within the Civil Service Agency, which is responsible for dealing with the total quality management tools and its implementation in other administrative bodies. Then with this gained knowledge, we have helped other institutions to implement CAF, but while you are implementing CAF, now you make some network with other practitioners, and then you develop some together common, we can say mini projects. For example, we did together some workload analysis in several institutions. We have developed some roadmaps for initiation of digitalization, etc. As our colleague Eva said, we need to know what is the scope of this tool that we want to use and how much does it cost. The CAF is the tool which is developed by public administration and for public administration. It is free, it doesn't cost anything, and it is not obliged. Since financial management and control, as you have mentioned, is a tool that is prescribed by the law, there are some similarities, but there are also differences between these two tools. What is very important to know is that the CAF, as the management quality management tool, is a self-assessment, and all employees are engaged in that process. After completing the self-assessment process, you do have improvement plan, which is integrated into the annual plan of the institution. And now we also nominate responsible persons for the implementation of the activities from this plan of improvement. And the FUC, financial management and controls, it helps the organization also to identify risk within the organization, and it is based on risk management and introduced to improve financial management and decision making. And in this process, senior civil servants are mostly included, but in the implementation of CAF, all employees are very welcome and included in that process.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, when we were preparing for this round table, Samra also mentioned FUC, which is financial, as you said, financial management and control, which we find some similarities with ISO, having in mind that it prescribes really procedures within your organization. So thank you for this remarks on similarities or differences regarding FUC with these quality standards, or how it can be also complementary with that, how it can help us if we already established FUC, but in a good way, so that really did prescribe all the procedures in the company. It can be a first step regarding setting quality standards, whether we choose ISO and or it doesn't have to be or and CAF, which is one of total quality management concepts, or let's say it like that. So our next topic is evaluation of the institution, but regarding your answers, because you all have implemented CAF or ISO, so you have to carry out self-evaluation, and some of you maybe external evaluation also. Can you tell me what subjects of your institution are what aspects of your institution are subject of evaluation, and which is more interesting, if you can tell us what do you do with the results of evaluation, because of course as schools or academies we have to do evaluation, and we do it on the daily level, but when you talk about evaluation institution, it can become routine, if you understand me. You know, you have all these reports, okay, then we put it in some box and that's it, we'll go to the next one, put it there, put it in report. And but do we really do something, do we do deep analysis of that, and let's see what we can find out, which is somehow hidden, what is hidden behind this data. So please, Eva, if you can go first. I'm sorry, because of this, Eva, I have a hard time switching between English and Serbian.
Yes, no problem. I know when I'm called, so. Okay. Yeah, as you already mentioned, any quality model as other process can quickly become an object to a stop bureaucracy program, yeah. And it's something we don't want to do, we don't want to have. Well, CAF, actually, I already mentioned before, and Samra already explained how the process is made. But what we need to understand when we are doing any project, when we are implementing any other measure, the most important is why we are doing it. If we don't know, if we don't set up goals, well, it will become process just to make the process, and that's the main thing. That's the most important thing. I think CAF, yes, it's a model that is based on self-assessment, and it takes quite a courage for an organization to do the self-assessment. You know, when you look yourself in the mirror and say, yeah, we have problems here and we can be better there. I think it really takes courage to do that. And it's primary, what's important for me.
Courage and motivation also, as you said on.
Yeah. Beginning. So we are doing what we evaluate. We evaluate leadership. That's all described in the CAF model. We evaluate leadership, people, strategy, planning, partnership, processes. And also on the other hand, we evaluate results, people, citizen, customer-oriented results, which are social responsibility results, what are our most key performance results. But I think what is actually important, and what we did at Ministry of Public Administration, we did not end our first process with CAF. The one thing we did to follow up was to measure satisfaction of our employees. And we found out that it has raised since we did CAF. That CAF also was as a collateral damage, some kind of team building. Because all the employees were actually involved, and I think that's
great, because when you said you should really look yourself in the mirror and put out all your problems of your institution during self-evaluation, it could really go the other way, that people don't want to talk with each other anymore. But instead of that, it is, as you said, really team building activity.
Yeah, well, while doing CAF, we saw each other, what people in the upper floor are doing, you know. What happened that it was easier to call a colleague to resolve an issue after doing CAF. It was faster to get some results and more fun to do some projects, also other projects together. And I think that is what is to appreciate. And what I miss the most actually is the exchange of experience between institutions and lessons learned. Not only focus on procedures, but mostly on valuable content, on implementing measures. You know, I often say, my children, you don't know how you are privileged when you are in school. First you did the learning, then you take the test. But in real life, it's exactly the opposite. We first take the test and then we get the lessons. And if we could exchange those lessons, and CAF is one perfect opportunity for all of us to exchange the lessons, I think we can contribute to all be and to achieve greatness.
Thank you, Eva. This was really inspiring. And I really like that you put people in the middle of quality models, in the middle of quality discussion. So can we hear from colleagues from INA what are the results of their self-evaluation and evaluation? What did you learn in this process? What are these lessons learned that Eva mentioned?
So we did evaluation, of course, when implementing ISO and CAF, but we do a regular self-evaluation of our activity and our programs, in which we take into consideration the different feedback that we receive from our stakeholders, either participants or representatives of the institutions or trainers. And we try to adapt ourselves and our programs, sometimes immediately, and taking account to this feedback. We did a broader internal consultation when we had a EU-funded project to develop our INA strategy, and different working groups were established then. And of course, the management level was in a different working group, in order for the rest of the participants, of our colleagues, to be able to speak freely and to express their real impressions and suggestions and ideas. And we are doing now this also. And okay, you can.
Sorry, but you said managers were in one group and
Yes.
the other employees in other, so that they could speak freely.
Yes.
And what happened when you put these two results together? Or
mainly they were similar. Mainly they were similar regarding organization culture, communication, when we want to achieve from INA, how to consolidate our capacities. And even last year, for example, we had a short team building session of half a day, and anonymously everybody was encouraged to write some suggestions. And all these were gathered, and based on that, the actual management wants to do something for all our colleagues, for the staff.
Okay.
And the last year, for example, we organized an internal training for our colleagues from project and the two training departments on training management, training design, new training tools, and it was tailor-made for our staff, in order to be up to date with the new tools, now with the online training and all this, in order to perform better and to know what to ask for from a trainer and what to have in mind when you design a training program, and how to encourage trainer and participants to be active also, even in an online training session.
Okay, thank you very much. So now we already get in the theme of continuous learning and development of our employees. But now let's go one step back on the topic of evaluation of the institution. So Ardit, can you tell us what did you do regarding self-evaluation and evaluation, and what do you do with the data?
So we have taken the motivation and the courage that Eva mentioned at the first beginning to do our best and to improve in our daily routine. We are focused and we have the same approach as Romanian School of Public Administration has. But I would like to mention and to be very concrete today for one component that are our participants in our training. So we used to do evaluation reports that are completed by each participant that have already taken part in our training programs, and they have the opportunity to assess the school in 3 different components. The first one is about organization and communication with us. That is very important because it emphasizes and also it evaluates the effectiveness of our institution communication related to the training program that we offer, such as marketing that we do before the start of the training program. Also, participant has the opportunity to communicate with our employee within the school, and other activities that we fulfill in order to make happen the training. The second one is about training infrastructure. We do have the same approach in class training or also in online training. We find there are some components that participants can evaluate. If we're going to be in class, they are going to evaluate the class condition. Other tools are probably that would help them during the training, and during the online session, we evaluate online platform and so on. That is another way that we get information from them. The third component they have the opportunity to evaluate is the training in general. And when I mean training in general, it's about they assess and evaluate trainer knowledge, the training methods that he or she is using during the training, interactivity that has been during the training session, and the content of the material. We do the same procedure also with our trainer experts that are becoming part of the school. The above data are collected and analyzed on a regular basis, helping us to ensure that our training programs meet the need of public administration or employees that are part of, and provide them with the right skills and knowledge, while also we have the chance to identify areas where we need to make progress and when we need to put some extra effort there to create that quality assurance, to maintain the quality assurance. But indeed, it's very important that due to big data that we collect, we are seeing the participants always are responding that our services are very good and so on. And sometimes we are facing with that situation that we look at where we're seeing that we are doing our job in a perfect way. But as we have seen, as we have learned, the education process is a continuous process that never ends. So there are always some constructive critique for the school, and we emphasize a lot.
If I can just ask you, I just wanted to tell you, when you said, of course, you can see from your participants' reports that you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
And there are some constructive feedbacks, but it's really hard, at least for us in National Academy for Public Administration in Serbia. Maybe it is like that for you. We always, usually, not always, let's be a little bit modest, but usually we get the good grades. So it's really hard. It's not possible that every training is really so good as the grades show, but participants really have tendency to give good grades. Let's say it like that. To trainer, they like the trainer. So they're not all of them are so critical. You really have one or two participants that are going to tell you something not so good, even it's never the bad one. How do you find where to improve? How do you find these little tracks of what could be better when we all have when they all have tendency to give good reports?
Definitely. Well, we were thinking about this thing in the last year, to be very sincere, because due to the big numbers that we are collecting, we faced with that problem. Firstly, while the participant has the chance to be part of our training, he has to fulfill a questionnaire there, a kind of evaluation report that is going to show us some data, where he's working, his position, and among the correlation that we have the data, we see the connection of his expertise and with the topic that he has followed there. So it's very important if you're going to get a critic from employee that has already the experience and knowledge and so on. But on the other side, we have seen that sometimes those critiques are very subjective. So we are seeing different critiques regarding the time duration of the training, for example. And we are seeing some critique about PowerPoint presentation. Sometimes they are very, very hard to discuss and to evaluate and to make a back decision how to improve yourself. The most important thing is that the first one, that we see who the participant is the reason that he has joined to this webinar, because we, in general, we have two options that the participant could take part in our training. Mainly, the first one is about the training is related to his job description or based on his performance daily performance duties, or for his personal development. So if it's the first one, we take the time to see what was wrong in our session in order to get the chance to improve it. But if it's personal development, there is another approach, and probably we can think more about how we could measure that feedback. So yeah, we are in this point, but there are other things that we are already exploring, and as I mentioned in the beginning, we are really very motivated to do that exercise in order to improve. And I'm lucky because we are doing even today, and as we are getting some extra experience, knowledge from my colleagues. And yes, indeed, I'm taking some notes, and that could improve also our daily process within the ASFA.
I'm glad to hear this. I'm also taking notes, and I must say that when we were preparing for this webinar, all of us, we had the chance to speak one-on-one. I had the chance to speak with every panelist one-on-one for about 45 minutes, more or less. And that was really valuable experience. So thank you all for this. And I'm sorry that we cannot put all of this conversation in 1 hour. It is impossible. So we're going to just scratch some important themes that we decided to choose for our participants today. So Samra, please, can you share with us your experience with civil service agency in Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina about the self-evaluation, evaluation, also external evaluation, and of course some, let's say, your way, how do you deal with this data that you get from this evaluation? What do you do with it, and how it makes you, how do you use them to improve the work of your agency?
Oh, yes, Christina. So if I can mention that the evaluation process in our agency is done on the level for whole institution, for civil service agency, compromising all elements of our functionings in terms of having all HR functions in place. So we are not the institutions who is responsible only for training and professional development. We also conduct and other HRM functions. So regarding the institutional evaluation, as I mentioned, we do it through self-assessment. So through the implementation of CAF, you do the self-assessment process, and it is based on once in a 2 year. Apart from this self-assessment process, we do have a self-evaluation process of
samostalne procjene za sprovođenje.
So we are obliged, according to the law, to do this self-assessment. Previously, I have explained the differences between these two models. And the next tool, the evaluation, is by the external audit evaluation process. Also, it is very important here to mention that CAF also provides external evaluation process. It is evaluation process given by, it is the feedback which is given by external evaluators. So we are the first institution now in the region who is recognized as the one who is actively implementing the CAF. And now we are also effective CAF user. And on this Wednesday, we will be promoted by Regional School of Public Administration for having this certificate. And the duration and validation of this certificate is only 2 years. So we need to have a continuous improvement and continuous evaluation, including monitoring process, for having all activities which we have identified as urgent, as prioritized, one to have completed and to have done in order to have professional service delivery and to have also professional employees in the Civil Service Agency of Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina. But I will now go on regarding the evaluation process of trainings. So we do evaluation and monitoring also in accordance with the methodology that we have developed in accordance with the Government of Federation Bosnia-Herzegovina decree. And each year we plan the evaluation, how it will be done in this year. So I think that we are the first institution who implemented the return on investment method of measuring the effects of training. So we are in phase of implementing five-level chain of impact of training, which comprises reaction of participants, then learning, then application, then impact, and the ROI. As you all know, working in institution for providing trainings, it is consuming, and also it is, we need to have very much resources for implementing the impact and the ROI, this level of the evaluation of training. But we piloted in several trainings. As one of example is how to, for example, implement the projects after participants completed the training on the project cycle management. So it is very important when you do the evaluation, when you do the evaluation plan, is to know which kind of training we want to have, and to have as the impact, and for what type of training we want to do the ROI, return on investment. For what type of training we want to know the value of the training, and how calculating in money the results were apart from having only reaction and learning data. So in this process, it is very important to have information of the training program and the duration. If this training program is accepted to be effective, for example, for at least 12 of 18 months. And also it is very important to have the information if the management will be included in this training. And also the cost of this training, for example, if the cost of the training program is in the upper category of 20% of the training budget. And also this training program highly visible? So all these components are very important during the planning or the evaluation process of trainings. We do this evaluation not each year, but once in 2 years, only for one training program. As I mentioned, it was project cycle management, and the second one is the development of strategic documents of federal authorities. For example, for this training, developing strategic documents, you have involved managers, because they need to have met their strategic objectives with organization goals. You know that after completion of this training, they need to develop these strategic documents for further 12 of 18 months. And also you can make all visible through social media. And also, you know, the cost of this training within the budget. So it was the second training where we calculated the monetary value of delivered training. So it is, how to say, a very broad picture. So I made a separation between two elements. The first one, the evaluation of the institution, as example of having a self-evaluation process, during the year or once in a 2 year, implementing CAF or implementing financial management and control. And on the other side, we do have the evaluation process, as colleagues previously said, of the trainings that we deliver, and the influence and the impact of trainings within not only the civil service agency, but on the level of the institution. So we are promoting the ROI, return on investment, very well.
Well, yes, thank you very much for sharing this experience. I must say it's very advanced to have in educational institution to implement return of investment as a way of evaluation. And as you said, you use it also on the project cycle management, which we discussed earlier. So it was interesting for me to hear that really it's not applicable. I don't know, do you agree? But it's not applicable on every course. And especially in education, it's hard to measure how much money is used because it's not just paying for the trainers. These are also facilities. It's our working hours as somebody who developed programs, other persons from other departments that are in this. It's, for example, for one course, it's our colleagues from the department for implementing courses. And so it's hard to measure the real costs of one training. And also it's for me really let's say innovative that you used it to measure and to see what is the result of this training, what is the money they earn on or the goal they did, how much is that value, or what is the value of that, and then to compare it, really having money as a reference, not just in the way of improving the knowledge and skills, but really this is financial aspect, which is, I think it's really, wow, yeah, great example. Thank you for sharing this with us. And because it's 11 o'clock, but I won't still let you go. I will just ask you, but maybe we can be short. I could not let this round table pass without mentioning innovation, because as me and also colleagues from the first round table, we were discussing, and everybody said that innovation and quality basically go hand by hand together. So if you can tell us shortly, it is the question for all of you. To what extent do you innovate your work, and also as a school and academy or agency? It's really something that we need to do and we have to do. But how quickly can your institution adapt? Because as an educational institution, we of course need to innovate and need to go always further, and we need to pull everybody else to go further. To be innovative. Of course, we have trainings for this, but on the other hand, we are civil administrations, organization, and administrations are really not so flexible and innovative all the time. So how do you manage to let's say these different sizes to community to put them together? I'm sorry, because of, yeah, I have so many thoughts, but in English, I have a really hard time sometimes to say all that I want. But I think we can understand, because we're all doing the same job. So how do you manage innovation and bureaucracy on one hand, and bureaucracy on the other hand? If you can be short, maybe shorter than I was in asking this question. Thank you. Eva, can we start with you, please?
Well, I think we all agree with Mr. Einstein, who once says we can solve our problems with the same thinking that we used when we created our problems. So innovation is one very, very, very important thing. I will keep it very short, and I will just tell you what we are doing within the Ministry of Public Administration and within our Directorate. We are actually running a specific project, Innovative Efficacy, that in English means you are innovative. And within that project, we enable and stimulate innovation and creativity in public sector And we have different trainings for public servants to use innovative methods, innovative tools. That's one aspect of the innovativeness. The other is we solve challenges and maintain innovation societies. Key target groups are public institutions on national, regional, and actually also on local level. We also build up so-called innovative network of public employees that has its regular monthly meetings to exchange experience, to connect and to promote innovative methods and tools used to solve very different kind of projects. And one very interesting project that we started to coordinate just in the end of the last year at Ministry of Public Administration is so-called Deep Demonstration Project. That is a project on circular economy with one of the main operational goals to change the way of working. Our ministry is therefore establishing so-called policy lab, which idea is to enable all the participation of different stakeholders, not only cross-sectoral approach, but also to include economy, to include non-governmental institutions, to include universities from the early stage of the process when addressing a certain challenge. And we are doing it together. And the way of operation should have a strong impact also at the early and of the early reflection of societal demands in the future. So we are working together, we are co-creating not only cross-sectoral between different ministries, but we are now in this policy lab starting to innovate with economy and with our citizens, and that's why actually we are here at public administration. So I'll stop at this.
Thank you. So actually you are innovative, we can say that. as it is the name also of your project. Thank you for sharing these experiences. I think it's really great that our government starts to cooperate with, as you said, non-governmental sector, universities, etc. And also we have from our participant Tranka said reconcile, the word that I was finding to say how we can reconcile, I think, bureaucracy and innovation. So let's see and let's hear what our colleagues from INA can say about innovation. Andrea, please, can you share with us?
Of course, thank you. We have two relevant examples. I will start with the first one. Last year in November, we organized a very important and big event for us. It's called INA Expo. It was its first edition. And it was a very big event. We gathered representatives from central and local public administration, from NGOs, from the private sector, and also from the academia. The main purpose of this event was to promote innovation and facilitate communication. We started with an introductory session of engagement and motivation, and then we had 3 different panels. The first one was with focus on digital public administration. The second one with focus on green public administration, and the last one with focus on exchange of good practices, because the motto of the event was more green, more digital, and more action. And of course, we wanted to share some current challenges that we all face and somehow to find some proper solutions to face all these challenges. And now I will let Alina, because we have also another very important example on innovation.
Thank you.
Yes, regarding the training process, we managed to make it 100% digitized. So from the moment someone wants to attend our training, from the subscription, the person fills in one time his personal information, personal data, and institutional professional data, and all this data is automatically filled in all the necessary documents regarding the training, including the certificate. So the subscription is online. Either we organize online trainings or face-to-face trainings. All the training materials are uploaded on our training platform, and the evaluation of the participants is also undergone through our training platform, and also the feedback questionnaire is filled in on our training platform, and we automatically receive customized reports regarding the results of the training, and also for the participants for their tests, they automatically in 1 or 2 minutes maximum, they receive the results, and they can see which was the right answer and which was the answer they chose for that specific question, for example. And also, if they have to resolve some case studies or exercises, they also upload their work on the platform, and they can also discuss with their colleagues and with the trainers on the forum or chat of the platform. And of course, all the certificates are generated automatically, and we sign them digitally, and after signing they are automatically sent by email to the participant. And also in the profile of each participant there is a section, My Certificates, and they can find there and download all the certificates they received from INAS trainings, for example. And all this process is paperless.
Okay, so it's digital and green, we can say it like
Yes,
that.
yes.
Yes. Yeah, I can see we all, of course, share same goals. Thank you very much. Ardit, what can you tell us about innovation in ASPA?
So, firstly, I would like to mention that in Odeljenja, 95, or exactly, Odeljenja has digitalized 95% of the public services. Only 5% of the services are non-digitalized because there is needed the presence of human resource or the presence of citizens. So to go to the school, I would like to mention a situation that we already know, the COVID-19. That was the situation that we already passed together in the global level. That is the first milestone in our digitalization within the school to turn the approach from class training into inline training. And I'm very happy and proudly to say that I was part of the small team that has worked in 2020 to make the transformation of our services from traditional way into digitalized approach or into online training. And for that, in 2020, so 3 years ago, we won the winner of Public Administration Award. That was a competition organized from RESPA and OECD Sigma for the Western Balkan country. And it was a good way, a good path for all of us to learn from the technology, to learn that technology, it is a good tool that could serve us to offer training and to offer our service in all country, no matter if you're appointed far away from our capital and so on, or if you have some disabilities. That has been very effective. It has decreased the economic costs for different institutions. It has offered opportunity different participants from different municipalities to be part and to enjoy our training programs. I can easily say that the majority of our process is digitalized within the school. We are using different tools that technology has offered to increase our efficiency and to improve our learning experience. As I mentioned in the beginning, we are collecting a big amount of data, and the presence of the technology is very important. Through pivot tables, for example, for different tools, Google Form questionnaires, and other tools that we are using, those has made our life easier and easier day by day. It's needed the human resource person because we need to interpret those data.
Gledano, treba nam da imamo naravno obučene ljude koji će moći da analiziraju sve ove podatke. U svakom slučaju,
it's a good way to innovative, and it's very adaptable to other institutions like us, because due to meeting that we attend and lately in Belgrade that we were, we've seen that we are doing the same path, we are doing the same experience with this, and workshop meeting like this are another symbol of the same thing that we are doing in this way.
Okay, thank you very much, and also I congratulate you on the reward that you get. So please, Samra, if you would be kind to tell us, how do you innovate? Are you innovative?
Yes, it's not easy job, but everything that my colleagues said, the innovation process is mostly important since COVID. So we have faced, we have been faced with same challenges. So learning compromised other elements. So we are all now very well acquainted with the online platforms and usefulness. But in terms of implementing CAF in the innovation, what is very important, it is to have a very well-developed strategy view of the top management and how to implement, because you can have innovative digital tools in place, but it's very important who use these innovative tools, who are key stakeholders who will use it. Are they very well prepared for use it? So in terms of implementing innovation, we have challenged difficulties. And having in mind all of this, it is very important for us, for example, for the civil service agency, to have talented people, innovative people who are persistent, who are action-oriented, with willingness to drive the change within organization. Within these people, it is not possible to implement these innovative tools, especially when we are talking about the age structure of the employees in the Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, which is more than 50 years. So implementing innovation is one segment, but having on board all users of these innovative methods is a second concept, and we need to reconcile, as Ranka helped us to have a word between bureaucracy and innovation tools.
Well, thank you, Samra, and you helped us to have this conclusion about innovation and administration. If I can say, you put it all so nicely in a few words. If I can just add one more thing about maybe challenges of innovation. As you said, also these are the structure of our employees, their age, and the willing of people, organizational culture, which are all challenges for accepting innovation. I would just add methods for implementing trainings. Yes, digitalization, this is innovative, but somehow this also starts to be the old, like, okay, now we have webinars, roundtables, self-paced online courses or online courses live, but what is the next step? I think that now we need the new methods, and if you're going to talk and teach about, let's say, artificial intelligence, or so we need, I think, a new method. I cannot just as a trainer stand and talk on PowerPoint presentation what artificial intelligence is. I need to give this experience to our participants. So I would just give this new innovative methods. I think that we're going to find out. It's still something in front of us that we need to discover, and hopefully we're going to share. If somebody of us discover this new method, we're going to share it quickly so we can all implement it. I would like now to take a look on our participants' comments. Mostly they're sending to all of you their regards. And we have some remarks from Mary Matanovic. She said, we are witnessing the overall improvement of the civil service agency in Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, due to standards and scope of professional trainings and continuous learning in service with better HRM functions, especially in the last 2 years, but also giving support and partnership in implementing CAF institutions, very important for building capacities and quality management in Federation of Bosnia and Herzegovina, Federal Administration for Inspection Affairs, Sarajevo. Thank you, Marima. Also, Dragana asked, could you provide us some useful links about this financial risk management tool? I will ask our panelists, and Dragana, we can send to you and also for other participants, because we can send it later on your email address. Best regards to Ranka and to all of you. And now I would like to ask our panelists, for participants, you're free to write your comments and questions in the chat box. And for my panelists, now you're from ours, you became mine. I would like to ask you in one sentence to tell us your one key message regarding the topic, which is ensuring the quality of professional development in public administration. So what would be your message for our participants? What do you want them to leave from this webinar? With what new or inspiring idea or knowledge? Eva?
Well, I actually learned quite a lot today, and I also made a lot of notes, but I'm counting on the tape later and to further exchange of our knowledge. But what I wanted to say and what was my message actually to all the communities, we have to do our job and act in life in the way that we can be proud on ourselves, not to make someone else proud. And I think we should stay curious, we should learn, we should share knowledge. And I'm sure that in next year and on all the other roundtable, there will be again the lack of time to conclude the roundtable. So that's my key message. Thank you all, and you will hear from me soon.
Thank you, Eva. Thank you for this lesson, I would say, about integrity. So please, Alina, if we can, yes, hear you, or Andrea, if you want to be first.
Yes, I will let Andrea first.
So I will shortly say to ask and constantly take into account feedback from all stakeholders in order so we can improve our activity and to help everyone develop his professional career.
Vin acum într-un minut.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you very much.
Okay, sorry, I forgot my mic on. For me, for example, and what we have discovered lately, that it's very important for all the stakeholders to understand the importance of training, because for a very long time, us as a training institution, we try to adapt our training, to develop our training, to bring quality in our trainings. But we realize that in order for a training to have an impact, it is very important for each institution to plan carefully its training needs, to identify its training needs, because by the end, if we want to talk about added value by training and impact of training, it is very important to work together, all the involved stakeholders in this training process, not us as a training provider or the participants as direct beneficiaries of the training. Thank you.
Thank you, Alina. Yes, impact of the training is very important question, and thank you for having this remark on your message. But I think we can organize one webinar just about measuring impact of our trainings, and which is also the topic that we, National Academy for Public Administration in Serbia, are going to deal with more during this year. So now, Ardit, can we hear your key message for participants?
So to participants, it's very important, as I'm working on the institution that we are offering training, it's very important the networking. I consider the most valuable product that we produce as institution. Networking is a powerful tool that could serve the participant to solve different problems or different issues they are facing with. So what I mention always while I'm presenting the school in different training sessions that we have to start from the beginning is, if you're going to remember at least 3 colleagues from this session, that is a good way or good start to ask for help and to share your experience with. And then about the information that we get here, we are always here. When I mean always here, the institution are always here. Even while we are representing institution, you have always a way, an opportunity, a possibility to contact schools or institutions that are responsible for providing training to ask for about information. So keep it in your mind. That's very important, networking and the approach to search for information. What I remember from the panelists, that there is always the need for courage and passion and motivation to do what we are doing right now. And really, I'm so lucky to be here today to share the floor with other international expert. And it was a valuable day with some added value. And I hope to be in contact very soon with you.
Thank you, and thank you for being part of our network, which is growing, if I can say so. Samra, can we hear from you?
Yes, of course. Having in mind all that we have said, we can say that we are obliged to do the right thing on the right way by using effective control mechanisms and quality tools through network of practitioners, as Mr. Ardit said, my colleague. So this is by my side.
Thank you all for being here today. Also, Eva, which is on a holiday, but she chooses to be with us today despite of that. And also, I would like to say happy Easter to everybody who's celebrating today. And we have messages from our friends from Spain. They're saying their thanks and sending regards. We have regards from European Institute of Public Administration and also colleagues from ASPA. And here are our other colleagues. Okay, so now I will just say big really thank you to all for being here, and for I really learned so much from you. And as I said, we had the opportunity to discuss the whole week which is behind us. We were talking and making notes and remarks for this roundtable today. So, of course, this network is going to grow even more, and we're going to hear and see each other very soon. And for all, we have another roundtable, which will be in Serbian, and maybe we could manage to arrange translation into English. So I like to say that we're going to see next Tuesday on the roundtable 3, and the information about that is going to be on our social network from National Academy for Public Administration in Serbia. So you can follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and etc. So thank you all, and see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you.
Thank you very much.
Goodbye.